Hi Virgo. Alright, welcome to this space. If you're new, welcome. My name is Raaji, and this space is called Opal Oracle. If you are returning, thank you so very much. Thank you for being here. Because really what you're doing is being there for yourself, right? You're choosing to self-improvement, right? So, there's a few little things, because I want to read you this first. It's this little thing I read every day. My uncle introduced me to it. Take what you will from it. They do give a quote from the Bible, which is nice to learn from, because it's like the biggest, littlest book, you know? all the sacred texts are like that. Okay, so this is Ephesians. Is that how you pronounce it? Here. Okay. Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 20 through 32. I guess it's obviously a lot longer, but this is a good part of it. Makes sense. And I just want to read you this little bit, because I feel like there's some humor in here. And you definitely, laughing for you is well, you probably know, since in a way you kind of rule medicine, is like laughter is the best medicine, right? But I heard we can only get there through tears sometimes. So this is entitled At Our Worst. I heard, who are you at your worst? Okay. It says, she is tolerable, but not handsome enough to tempt me. This sentence, pronounced by Mr. Darcy in Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, is the reason I will never forget that novel and its impact on me. Because after reading that one sentence, I firmly decided I would never like Mr. Darcy. But I was wrong. Like Austen's character, Elizabeth Bennet, I had the humbling experience of slowly and quite reluctantly changing my mind. Like her, I had been willing to get to know Darcy's character as a whole. I preferred to hang on to my reaction to one of his worst moments. After finishing the novel, I wonder who I made that same mistake with in the real world. What friendships had I missed because I wouldn't let go of a snap judgment? And then there's always a bit at the bottom. Sometimes it's more technical, sometimes it's a little more personal. And this says, God, it's really hard sometimes to let go of the impulse to judge and compare, to resist that need to see myself as better than others. Help me to grasp deep in my heart the truth that I don't need to compete and that I am loved. You are loved, Virgo. How you process feelings, though, is interesting, right? Love is a feeling. Okay, so I actually recorded this Saturn and Capricorn reading for all the signs as a check-in. And for Virgo, the Five of Pentacles actually came up there. And so I feel like in a collective sense, there's something with Virgo where it's either there's something that you'll have to be, that you are facing, and I heard feeling, and we'll have to come to face and feel, that either has to do with Well, you have to face your fears, right? Either of your own self-value, abandonment issues that you have, money, like scarcity issues that you have, which goes back into abandonment. And then I heard alone and together. All right, Virgo. Let's open your cards. I heard Taurus makes you tired. We're talking about May, right? But Taurus makes you a little bit tired. So either you're working too much, or you need to. You're not doing enough, right? Because Taurus sometimes can flow into Pisces, where it just wants to be comfortable and not really face reality. So it's important that I see that you are, well, I heard facing reality, but not judging it, right? Because everybody's got their worst day. Let's see, where is this coming from? Ooh. Oh, okay. So your readings, for a good amount of time now, have been very spiritual, very deep, right? The other side of you is Pisces. This is a deep ocean of mystical, magical, unexplainable, spiritual, intangible kinds of magic, right? Great healing in there, too. Well, I guess there's something about the balance of the practical. And I heard there's something about the progression of time. Good girls are good. Yes, indeed. I love you. I heard, what are you afraid of? Mostly in a feeling sense. Let's see what you've been learning. People are the way they are, Virgo. They are the way that they are. Whoever and however they are, that's who they are. Now who you are, you have a lot of ability to train yourself, right? And I heard, even if you have kids, this doesn't count. You can like, right, there's like I saw a form to create a structure. But everybody's got like their own personality. You know what I mean? The way they deal with things, or the way they stand up, or what they can tap into, or what motivates them, or what they deem as real or not. Right, this whole conversation, everybody's having their own conversation about that. And I heard sometimes you meet people on the path that makes it easier to connect and not feel alone. Because you're kind of a loner, right? I heard, not that you, something about, what did I see? Even when you're a loner, you're never alone. In peace you can find through the suffering you own. And then I saw return to sender. Somebody else got that. Cancer? Maybe? Oh, you're linked to them. Just a minute. I feel like you're going to have more epiphanies during the day than at night. Maybe that's a part of it. What do you, what's your schedule been like? Daytime, nighttime, sleeping, waking, schedule, right? You are a big part of routine, right? How the day begins and ends has a lot to do with you, and you have to do a lot of organizing in between there. So it's Capricorn too. You know what's beautiful though? In this past energy that you have the Hermit and the High Priestess, which I took as Pisces just as a mirror, but you see how they're like facing one another? It's like you found, because it came out with the Nine of Pentacles, I feel like the faith that you have found, whoever is here, is very strong, you know, and grounded, and you really have been doing a great job, but I do feel as if how do I see this? Scorpio. So we're talking about your own, I guess we're talking about power. Your own power, perhaps. Like, what's funny to you? What is wow, that guy hasn't been working in a long time. That machine has not been fired up in a long time. I don't know what we said before that, but, huh. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe you quieted a place, right, so that you could move to a different space, do something else. But Scorpio talked a bit about this. Theirs was about forgiveness. Yours is about suffering, I guess. Yours, other people's, something like this. You have to go in and like polish. I heard polish your suffering, be proud of your suffering. But the thing is like, this is natural to you, right? Even subconsciously suffering, Virgo. It's like constant atonement, right? Kind of psychologically, you know. Just a minute. So you got to have fun too, right? But happiness is so important, Virgo. It's very important. Like, your own happiness. Okay, we learn a lot through difficulty. How do I see this? Well, I keep seeing like a person that would do something. Let me give the example I see. It's like a person that paints, but they only paint when they're drunk. You know what I mean? Like Pollock. I don't know who it was. I'm sure there were many drunk painters, but the point is that like they would do this one thing while this certain feeling was happening, and it would create a certain something. But it's learning to create the same something out of different things. if you've been being independent, responsible for your money, looking at the reflection of yourself, checking in with your belief systems, and things of this nature, then I feel like the worry that you have, or the concern that you have, is something well, it's nothing to be worried about, is the point. I do feel like some quiet reflection in this time would be very good for you. This is part of your next step. And try to focus that towards yourself, because I know that's actually hard for you. It's really hard for you to do, I know. Your next step's really cool, too. What you will be learning about is the Queen of Cups, and what you're afraid of is the King of Cups. Let's see how to... Oh, Three of Pentacles. Perfect. There's actually a lot of... There's like a square of water. Oh, how do you let the water out, I guess? Because I heard the spiritual, the physical, energetic, even mental, like there's a lot of information that's been put in. I see things put in the right places, but emotionally, well, I see again, like, what's fun to you? What, I heard, how do you feel about yourself? I heard we create what we emotionally need, but we can also create emotional, well, I saw the word turbine, and then there were all these tubes. Scorpio will be very helpful for you this time. I also see your 10th house, if you know what that is. Well, I guess a good question to you is, like, what makes your family happy? Like, what would they do for fun, or like what, something like that? And then what do you like? And I see again, Scorpio will be helpful. Scorpio's helpful. It's connected here. Scorpio and Cancer. So, well, I guess now that you're stable to a certain extent, right? The only thing that's funky here is a little bit of, it's an emotional space. You could be a little bit wrapped up in your head, but I feel like if you stick to like the routine or some sort of better scheduling, you'll keep yourself in check more. Okay, you have to pay attention when you're tired. Again, if you're overly tired, you're working too much, or you're not working enough, right? It always balances itself out. Yeah, death and the moon, Scorpio and the moon, right? Plus, when we sleep, we do process a lot. unconsciously and subconsciously. So perhaps also paying attention to your dreams, or even looking back at a dream journal. If you don't have a dream journal, maybe this was just a journal of yours or some sort of expression. Because I heard, what were you praying about and what are you praying about now? And I see in whatever it is you are desiring emotionally or in the physical world, I see, please feel stable in your capacity to achieve it, right? And I heard, please, there's something about relinquishing fears in relation to like abandonment or home, family kinds of trauma. And again, I want you to feel stable as you go along, but remember that when I did that, it was like a snake, and I saw a snake shedding its skin, like yeah, Cancer and Scorpio will be very helpful for you. Interesting energy. I wasn't actually going to record today because, well, there's some other things that I needed to do, and then I did them. I feel like how do I see this? Just a second. You are your own instrument. And so you're in charge of keeping it in tune. And I heard this instrument is owned by, it's like, it is some, how do I see it? Well, I saw the instrument, and then all of a sudden it was like in its place where it goes, and then it was in this home, and then that home was on land, and then that land, whatever the edges of it are your responsibility. To a certain extent, I heard walking the grounds, you know, and so perhaps you want to apply this in, right, again, what are you doing daily? What's your schedule like right now? And I actually see for most of you what is part of what is the how do I see this? Well, I guess Pisces is part of the concern. But Taurus can stabilize that because if you, Taurus and Sagittarius will help this. Yes. And of course you, since your mind does process so quickly too, go do a rundown. Like, think about what you need to do before you go to bed. I actually see writing it down would be the most helpful because then you actually can take it out of your brain. And I heard not everything's so poetic. Right? So I see this less as like expressive writing, more of I don't know, the lines are clearer. I mean, I see also, please remember to be, feel strong, okay? I heard what you have overcome, the healing you have done in yourself, the redefinitions of you, right? Because Virgo is probably one of the most proactive signs to want to better themselves, right? So I heard you can have a little gold star for that. Because I heard that took initiative, right? Yeah, that took effort to do it, right? Enthusiasm. And I don't know if we mentioned this in the beginning. Did we talk about self-motivation? Right? For instance, something's broken, fix it, right? Or what tools do you need to fix it? But you gotta know, you have to be observant to be able to pay attention to what needs to be had or happened. And I heard to be achieved. So what is it that also just things you need to do so that, well, I guess you have to figure out what you want to do. But I guess your wants are determined by what you have. Particularly, I heard in self-motivation. And whatever we just said there is what turns this Five of Pentacles upside down. And there's Judgment. Wherever it is that they're, say at work or something like that, like, maybe the days are a little slow, or you feel like it's hard to focus. I feel like you'll get your energy back, but until then, please, I feel like you're adjusting yourself. And I heard in all that you can be. So I heard, please don't burn yourself out. Just a minute. This is less of a time of being deep internally, and I don't know, it's almost when you're doing something really fundamental or like mundane during the day is when you're going to have more epiphanies. You know? You just like go over and like grab something and then you're like, oh, it reminds you of something else and it helps you to figure out something instead of being like, ooh, how am I going to figure this out? You know, you're just out in the sunshine, you know. Huh. Cool reading, Virgo. I really didn't know how they'd go today. Today's the full moon. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Virgo, for having this conversation. remember, you're ruled by Mercury, right? Just like Gemini, and I haven't recorded them this month yet. So they've been learning a lot about how everything can't be happy all the time. You know that, but it's almost like you're the other end of it, where it's more natural sometimes, the sorrow of things, right? And so the suffering of things. So I heard, please remember that there's a good balance here of these two energies. Okay. And if you have any financial concern, I feel like it's not an issue. It's just about believing, like a physical concern, right? Something like this. It's nothing to be concerned about. It just, something needs courage, Okay. That's that. Thank you for being here, Virgo. Any of you who are still here. I like Taurus and Virgo together. It's nice. So, yeah. Oh, hey, lizard. Holy, he's big. Weird. Had like white parts coming out of it. Never seen that before. Anyway, I love you, Virgo. Thank you for being here. I hope you have the happiest now. Keep up the good work. And I'll talk to you next time.